I returned home from my last deployment. Dusty boots, frayed duffel bags, 12 years of service under my belt, set to finally find peace on land that had been mine for 3 generations. I found instead a stranger cooking hot dogs on my front porch. He grinned and waved like I was just some dude. "Hey man, open house?" Open house? On my property? I stood there immobile, on the same porch where my grandfather had taught me how to shoot, where my dad built our cabin with his own 2 hands, where I had envisioned someday raising a family. It was all gone. While I had been overseas, someone had sold it all. Not just the cabin, the whole property. My name is Connor. I served this country. And while I was dodging bullets, they were selling my life. I served 12 years in the U.S. Army, 3 combat deployments. Each time between tours, I invested my savings and heart into that country. A serene 60-acre piece near a serene lake, with mountains and memories around every corner. Before I deployed for the last time, I made it legally certain. I filed under the Service Members Civil Relief Act, SCRA, a law that's meant to keep a service member's property from being sold, foreclosed, or leased without written permission. I did it all by the book. I obeyed the law. But that didn't dissuade them. While I was off fighting in a war zone, the Silver Pines Homeowners Association began assembling back stateside. A bunch of opportunists redrawing property boundaries, falsifying papers, and auctioning off my property like it was part of a real estate going out of business sale. The serene gravel road I remembered. Now a newly paved road, lined with white picket fences and for sale signs. Where my woods were, cookie-cutter houses. Where my cabin used to be, a dog park. The home that I left to guard had been bulldozed. This isn't just a land dispute. This is theft, wrapped in legal paperwork. They had no idea I'd see through their scheme. They had no idea being overseas made me helpless. But now I'm back. And I'm here to lay bare every phony signature, every zoning fabrication, every illegal sale. This isn't just property. This is about respect, honor, and the rights of every service member who thinks their home will be there when they return. If this can happen to me, it can happen to any soldier. The question now isn't whether I'm going to fight. The question is how far this corruption goes, and how many others they've stolen from while they were serving their country. They had no idea they were living on stolen ground. I made my way to the newly built HOA office at the center of the development. It looked more like a country club than a neighborhood headquarters. Inside, the air conditioning blasted as soft jazz played from hidden speakers. Behind the front desk sat a woman with a perfect smile and a sharper attitude. "Can I help you?" she asked without looking up. "Yes. I think you sold my land." Her smile didn't falter. "And your name is Connor Reed. I own this property. You bulldozed my cabin." She blinked and clicked around on her computer. "Ah, I see the confusion. This land was vacant when the subdivision was planned. You must be mistaken." "No," I said firmly. "I was deployed. I have proof. That land has been in my family for over 60 years. You had no right to touch it." She gave a little shrug. "Well, sir, all zoning permits and sales were properly filed. You can take it up with our legal department." I did more than that. I contacted the county. They claimed the title had been sold fair and square to Silver Pines' development group, a shell company created by the HOA board members. When I asked for the documentation, they showed me a forged signature. Mine. It was laughable. My name is spelled wrong, and the signature looked like a child's scribble. They'd faked everything. Permits, notices, signatures. They'd even gone as far as to mark my property as abandoned, citing a lack of occupancy for more than 12 months, completely ignoring the fact that I was an active duty soldier. I wasn't just angry. I was ready for war, but not in the way they expected. See, while I had spent years in the military, I wasn't just infantry. I specialized in legal logistics, property acquisition, base operations, and land rights in foreign zones. I knew how the system worked, and more importantly, I knew how to fight back. So, I gathered everything: military orders, property deeds, proof of ownership, and records of the SCRA protections I had filed before deployment. Then, I made one phone call, just one, to the Department of Defense. It turns out when a soldier's legal rights are violated during active duty, especially by a civilian organization profiting off federal land protection violations, the government takes it very seriously. Within days, I had a military legal team assigned to me. Within 2 weeks, a federal investigation was opened into the land would now house veterans in transition, offer therapy services, and host training exercises. And me, I was hired as the operations director. On the land that had always been mine, one day, as I walked the perimeter with a clipboard in hand, I spotted a familiar face standing just beyond the fence line. It was Carl Jennings in a cheap suit, hair a mess, glaring at the facility that had replaced his kingdom. He didn't say a word. I didn't either, but I did smile. And then I turned and walked back onto my land, my future, knowing that justice, no matter how long it takes, always finds a way to anyone out there being pushed around, lied to, or stepped on by people who think they can cheat the system. Remember this: sometimes the quiet ones have the most powerful allies. And when you steal from a soldier, you're not just picking a fight with one man. You're declaring war on everyone behind him. To anyone out there who's ever felt powerless against those with money, influence, or a false sense of control, remember this: no matter how alone you feel, the truth always has power. And justice, even when delayed, never forgets. Stand your ground, protect what's yours, and never let anyone silence your voice. Thank you for listening to my story. If you found it inspiring, moving, or just satisfying to watch justice unfold, please like, share, and do subscribe to my channel for more powerful stories like this one.